I skip episodes of TV series that my soon-to-be ex-wife is watching on Netflix. I'm currently going through a really vicious custody dispute with my soon-to-be ex-wife. I have a great case against her and my lawyer, and I expect to win easily, but until we get a decision from the court, I won't get to see my kids, and I haven't seen them for some time already. Whenever I have had enough of the abuse that I receive from her on my social media accounts, I move the red line that indicates how much of an episode she has watched to the end of the episode, and then to the exact same position it was in on the next episode. So far, she hasn't worked it out, I can tell, because she will watch the rest of the new episode and sometimes watch another before going back to the episode she originally was up to and starting again. I know it's extremely petty, but it is surprisingly cathartic. Context: it's my account. I haven't changed the login so that the kids can still use it. I feel like I, F19, might have messed up my first ever date by giving the guy, M23, a BJ. For some background, I, F19, just went on my first ever date with a guy, M23, and we had talked all night about basically everything. We hit it off extremely well. He also had 2 Long Island iced teas. Ike, how much alcohol that is, but he seemed to open up a lot more after it. I hadn't even kissed a guy before, but after dinner we were in my car and talked some more, and he asked to kiss me, so I said yes, because I really wanted to. Also told him I was a virgin. Ike, if that's dumb to do, but it came up naturally. So after we kissed a bit, he started feeling me up and he was asking for consent every step of the way. He was a total gentleman and made me feel very safe, special, and comfortable. He grabbed my hand and put it on his crotch, and I couldn't focus with his hand down my pants and trying to get my hand down his, so I shifted the focus to him. He ended up getting his out and I started jerking him off a bit, but what I really wanted to do was give him a blowjob. I've never gave one before and I've fantasized about it basically since I met him. He asked me if I wanted to try sucking it, and I thought about it for a moment and he said, "It's totally fine if not, don't feel pressured." But I went for it because I really wanted to. I enjoyed doing it, and I think he came in about 2 minutes, and I think I got a little ambitious in letting him do it in my mouth and swallowing it. He said he couldn't believe I hadn't done it before, but as we were talking after, I started to feel something come up my throat. It was my dinner. Luckily, I was in the driver's seat, so I just popped open the door to throw up. He was very sweet in making sure I was okay, but I swear I threw up like 5 times in a row before I drove him back to his place. I do have a bit of a bad gag reflex, and I said so while I was throwing up, and he said that might be the reason why. Does anyone have an experience like this so I can laugh and feel better? Dentist billing revenge with assistance. My wife recently received a bill from our family dentist with no explanation. I called in to talk to billing, and it turns out the bill was from service in late 2024, but they had been going through a transition of billing systems, and our invoice had fell through the cracks. But now they had everything squared away, issued new invoices, and included interest for unpaid invoices that they had never issued. It wasn't a huge amount, about $80. But I tried to negotiate the interest amount, about $5, off the bill, but they wouldn't budge. They offered a payment program, credit card over the phone, or pay in cash. When it started getting hostile about the interest, I decided to hang up. I went to my local bank to extract the exact amount and told the teller that I was in a petty dispute with my dentist and wanted the lowest denomination. I suggested either $1 bills or rolls of quarters. She said, "Oh, I hate this kind of thing. Do you want to do rolls of dimes?" Perfect. The exact bill was $83.21. I got $83 in dimes and pennies, and I had a random quarter. It was satisfying to watch 2 billing admins count out my coins and then have to issue my 4 pennies in change. Am I 43F being ridiculous, or is he 45M? I 43F and my husband, 45M, am having a heated discussion, and he told me to post on Reddit to see who is being ridiculous. Quick backstory: we are going to my parents tonight at 4 for dinner. He asked me earlier today what time we are going, and I replied 4 p.m. A little while later, he saw some sausages in the fridge and asked when we were going to eat them. I told him we were taking them to my parents tonight. He said, "Okay, so which is it? Are we going at 4 p.m. or are we going tonight?" I replied that he knew what I meant and it's close enough, and he understood. He replied saying, "No, I don't understand what you mean. You need to be more clear. 4 p.m. is different than tonight. Tonight would mean it's dark out." He was laughing and smiling the whole time, which to me shows that he totally understands my context, and he could have just been fine with that answer instead of arguing semantics. It's very frustrating, and he does this kind of thing often where I'll say something that might be slightly ambiguous, but he knows what I mean. He just is giving me a hard time. At least this is my feeling on it. It went back and forth enough to the point that he told me I needed to ask Reddit if I am being ridiculous or if he is. If someone told you that they were going somewhere at 4 p.m. and then referenced the same event and called it tonight, would you not know what they're talking about? Or would you know that they meant the same event? I told him it feels like he's gaslighting me, and then he rolled his eyes. He then told me to ask on Reddit because he thinks that I'm gonna get raked over the coals. I know this sounds really petty and ridiculous, but these kinds of conversations where he says he doesn't understand what I'm talking about when it's pretty darn clear what I meant happen often, and they're very frustrating. Apparently it's my fault the supermarket sells condoms. work as a cashier in a small supermarket. Tonight I was working the evening shift, and it was just me and one other coworker on shift. A woman came in with her young daughter, and when they came over to pay, she started complaining to me that her daughter asked what a condom was when she saw them in the aisles. She yelled at me that it was inappropriate and we shouldn't sell products like that in normal shops where kids could see them, and that I should be ashamed of myself. I told her it was her responsibility to not let her daughter to see things that she doesn't want her to see. She continued complaining at me because she needed to go down that aisle and her kid shouldn't have to see those things, and I just told her that what the shop sells has nothing to do with me. She just glared at me while I scanned her shopping and then stormed out. Do not work in customer service, you have to deal with some really insane people.